What is up, everybody? It's Thursday night. You know what that means. We're in the pit with Josh the Mosh. And let me bring in my co-host, numero dos.
Boom! I'm back.
What's up?
I'm
What is
back.
up?
You guys got a small taste of the dose last week, just a little bit of dose, not
Back to full time.
not the full dose, the part-time dose. But I am back in the chair. I am here, and I am ready to talk wrestling.
Yeah, it's funny how the wrestling gods gave us something to talk about all of a sudden. This morning I was like, man,
on a silver platter.
It's been a quiet week. Just a normal old wrestling week, huh?
And before we have this episode, let me just preface this so we can get all the bullshit out of the way. Because here in the pit, we talk about shit right up front. We don't cover E. We don't talk about E. We don't talk about mainstream E. We talk about WWF. We talk about old school shit. But the reason we're going to talk about
talent.
We're going to talk about this today is this is a forward moving motion. This is a topic of conversation that involves the future and not the past. And we are going to talk about these WWE releases.
Yeah, because it's not talking about the E though. We're going to talk about the talent.
This is a gift to us non-current WWE product fans. This is a gift because we got some of our heroes back. We got some of our fucking legends back. And for those of y'all that watch us from outside Texas, we got one of our big heroes back on the scene. And we're going to talk about it all here in the pit today.
But we have some of our other suspects are ready to jump in and join us too. So let's get our yay mail moment for the night.
Yay!
Even though she beat Ryan though, so Ryan's not in here yet. So we don't get the official yay mail, but it'll be here later. It looks like our Poodle Bro's kind of here, but not here. So we'll come back to him. There's the Poodle Bro's lush palatial estate joining us. But yeah, so we'll let him sit back there for a little bit. But hey, Mel, how's it going? As soon as you muted yourself, I asked you a question. Love it how it goes together. Now I can't hear you. We can't hear you. Did you mute your headphones? There you go.
Oh, wait. No, I was going to say, I'm still kind of like going through all these names and everything, which is crazy.
I have the list.
Me too.
I have the list right here.
I didn't even know. I found out about this like 2 minutes before we came on.
I was like, we're ready to talk about this.
I've been out of pocket. I didn't see any text messages till 7:20. And I opened this up, and like Josh and I were talking about randomness. And I was like, wait, what the fuck?
It was crazy. Just the names that were being dropped, and like Sean Ross Sapp was just like dropping one by one by one. You're like, wait, who? What?
So before we go farther, I'm gonna read the list.
Yeah, go for it.
We can just get them all out, and then we can talk about it.
Don't unmute Angel. That's hilarious. Don't unmute.
So we got this is no particular order. So Mia Yim,
this
Harry
order
Smith.
We got handed it.
Yeah, Harry Smith, Keith Lee, Nia Jax, Karrion Kross, Lindsay Dorado, Grand Metalik, Jeet Rama, Katrina Cortez, Trey Baxter, Zaida Ramir, Jesse Kamea, Hit Rose B-Fab, which is crazy because they just got kind of called up and had a big angle start. That's very interesting. Oni Larkin, which is the one that I think upset me almost the most. Amber Moon, Frankie Monet, and Scarlett Bordeaux. That's the list right now as we speak.
I hate to say it, but I think that the days were numbered with Karrion Kross and Scarlett Bordeaux since they changed his gimmick when he went up. And they did that.
I knew Scarlett's was.
That has got to be the biggest mishandling of a fucking hot potato that I've ever seen.
Absolutely.
Honestly, you talk about wasting an entire year and a half run in the ultimate NXT. Like, I mean, honestly, like Karrion Kross came up and was never anything.
Yeah. And the thing that sucks, because I know with some of these other guys, I don't know how they felt about being in WWE or not, but I followed Karrion Kross like when he was in Mexico, right? And he was always very adamant that his dream was to be in a WWE. And I thought it was a no-brainer. He has the look. He had a great gimmick. And
on the mic, had all the package.
Good.
I mean,
I don't know what went wrong with him. Like, it's just one. And then Creative gave him some terrible, like, man. It's I don't understand. But again, this was because this is a very different NXT prior. Now, I hope for the people that are in NXT now that the right hand's talking to the left hand, and there's more cohesion, and where if a person that is invested in NXT 2.0, that knowing that what's happening there could possibly carry over to WWE. Hopefully, I mean, if I was a fan, I wouldn't want that because I don't get it. Like stat and like and another big one for me was Keith Lee. How do you jack that up, Keith Lee?
Before we get into names, though, like
go.
Names, I have a question for you because for those of y'all that don't know, like Angel and I, we're loud, we're proud, and a couple weeks ago, like we had a real big topic of conversation about the excess hiring of AEW and was it a problem? Now, if you fast forward 2 weeks from that, we have almost the exact same argument in this other company, the excess firing of talent. So you really do have to wonder, and I'm not trying to strike up the amazing the debate.
No, we're not.
What I'm asking is, what's going through E's mind that when they release these talent, they have to know that everybody wants them. These are not bullshit names. No. Like these are not nobodies. These are people who were fucking hot on the scene before they went into E, hot on the scene now, and they're going to be immediately booked. Immediately, as soon as the clauses are up, immediately booked. So what's the difference in mindset here, Angel?
Because it goes with one name, Nick Khan. So for those that don't know, Nick Khan was a guy who came from a different industry, came in to really look at WWE's books. Now, mind you,
not related to AEW Khan.
No,
this is
different Khan.
That's
different.
So if you hear Tony Khan say he's the best Khan in wrestling, it's because of the other guy, Nick Khan.
Yeah.
Right. So this guy is a straight looking at the books. What is his excess that it is what is his excess that we have in the W books? Because the way W was run, even though they were $1 billion company, they were petty as fuck. We know Vince McMahon petty as fuck. He would do everything to undermine the other competition. But when Nick Khan came in, he was like, wait a minute, we can make a lot more money if we ran this like a professional company. And in his eyes, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, just on that note, they released their quarterly returns for this last quarter, and it was a $436 million to the good this quarter. Just saying.
And it will point out
that's $500 million for those that want to just hear an easier round number. That's $500 million with the B.
It's also like off the heels of what
for 3 months.
Their last Saudi pay-per-view.
I know
Blood Money shows, Money pay-per-views, but that one a lot of people loved it. A lot of people said that was a big win for WWE. But still, the next week, it's like you.
But I mean, let's also say it before. Let's also talk about the years leading up to it. All they were doing for a while were kids in a candy store, and they're like, and I want that toy, and I want that toy, and I want that toy, and they were just handing out contracts like nothing. Because they didn't want them on the indies and they didn't want them going to other places. And now, well,
they want them to go to AEW. They didn't want them to go anywhere.
They didn't want them to go to AEW. They didn't want them going other places. They're like, and give me that one and give me that one. And now they killed their momentum. They killed whatever, they had going on the indies. They killed their runs enough to where like, okay, now I've got to build it back up within it. I mean, guys like Karrion Kross, Taya Valkyrie, okay, they can get their runs back. But I mean, like, Ramier, Zeta Ramier, Ember Moons, it's like that. I know they're gonna get picked up, but it's gonna take a while.
It's gonna take a while for her to get somewhere else.
So but the big picture is Nick Khan sees his competition as football, TV, sports, movies. He doesn't see other wrestling as a competition. So what he's doing, he's trying to maximize as much profits as possible, knowing full well that people are still gonna go to the big shows to go ahead and spend a whole bunch of money. And as a person who's in that position, now he can justify like, hey, guess what? I keep making maximum profit and I keep cutting down here and there, because he's cutting down, unfortunately, a lot of excess what they have, because what WWE was doing anyways wasn't working regardless, right? In regards to like keeping fans and all that. So
that word working is relative though, because $436 million profit in a quarter, that's working for a lot of
That's
people.
working for
Not
and
for
that's why
us. That's not
no,
working
see,
for us.
no, see, and that's why the WWE conversation is a two type conversation. You have WWE making money. It is the industry, right? And then you have the fans, and there's no like, if as an investor, it would be so confusing. If I was a wrestling fan as an investor, I'd be like, what my eyes show me is hot garbage. I'm seeing viewership going down, but yet I'm seeing profits continue to go up. It doesn't make sense. Something has to fall. And honestly, I really do think that this at some point this is gonna go to just selling the company, or just selling
That's
it.
what I think. That's what I think.
Because
I think WWE is committed
they
to
just
this bridge. Like your Seth Rollins, your Roman Reigns, your AJ Styles, these guys that will carry the product. I mean, fans tune in. We talk about it every week. Like, Raw is trash. Like, Raw is the laughing joke of the wrestling world, but it's got more viewers than anybody else. They're there.
Millions,
I mean, that's
millions.
where it's
Yeah,
at.
but let's also
And
talk
you gotta
about
think about this too. You have YouTube. You have like WWE. Everything WWE does is ads. You remember we used to pay like $12.99 for WWE Network, and they would still add their own shit in there. You can't.
Yep.
You can be on a paid membership scale on YouTube, just so you know, and WWE still gets their ads in there with you. There's a very select few people that can still work ads in to premium paying YouTube viewers, and WWE's one of them. That's where a lot of that revenue comes from.
Absolutely.
You can't watch AJ Styles use the fucking phenomenal forearm without watching that 30-second Snickers blurb first.
Yeah.
What are you
but
gonna say,
let's
Mel?
also talk about the E. The fact that E fans are only a majority of them are only E fans. That's the merch they buy. That's what they subscribe to. That's what they want. That's what they watch. Outside of their E bubble, they have no idea what's going on in the wrestling world.
They don't. Like,
They have no clue.
It's funny, like, because like I was one of those, like, years ago. I felt like I was in a cult. I felt like I missed like a hotbed of indie wrestling because all I knew was WWE and WWF. That's all I did. Nothing else mattered. People come in like, who's this guy? Like, it's just you're like in a cult, and that's all you see. Like, it's crazy.
That was kind of a beauty of me being old, because I grew up when there was so many different companies, because I grew up watching World Class, AWA, NWA, WWF. Like, you know what I mean? I was used to having all those. So I didn't come into wrestling when it was WWE and that was it. Like, you know what I mean, on TV. Like, I just stayed tuned to the next day and there was somebody else on TV. You know?
It drove a lot of people out of wrestling. Like, I tell people for years, I didn't see a second of wrestling for years, but I was on WWE's website almost weekly reading about what would happen, because I felt like when I came to the hot lesbian action or the storyline of Triple H having sex with the corpse, like, I could skip that shit and just see and read what mattered to me. I didn't see a second of CM Punk's WWE run. I didn't see a second of the Seal's original WWE run. I was so over that product, and where I had gone to get away from it had folded. So, like, to that point, that's a good point. When it's only the E, it's really done damage to the wrestling world.
Yeah, because then you get like, and of course it may make them change their names, which I get it. If I were going to go into the E as well, I'd change my name because I don't want them to own it unless for some reason you signed the contract like AJ Styles. Hey, that's my name when I went in. That's my name when I come out. You don't.
That's his
own
name.
That's his name.
That helps.
But I mean, even Cody Rhodes.
Sometimes that don't matter.
Cody Rhodes lost his name. You know what I mean?
A good
year and a half. Yes, it's still a kayfabe name, but still, whatever. It's his.
Well, he got it back finally.
Yeah, but look how long it took him and how many fights that it took. You know,
and that wasn't even a name he hardly used at the E because he was fucking Stardust when he left.
Exactly.
What the fuck? That's how they control those names. That's such a good point.
The fact that you also the fact that you also can lose your name when you join them. You know, like Taya Valkyrie was Taya Valkyrie, and now she's Frankie Monet, and everybody went, yeah, Frankie Monet. But everybody on the indies who watch Impact went, who the hell is Frankie Monet?
Watch from Lucha.
Yeah, I mean, that was her. Yes, that's the name she picked.
Yeah,
the best, Taya. I'm just gonna say that. But yeah, she picked it. You know, it's just like why risk losing your name to the company and having to fight for it later?
That made me laugh.
No, it did make me. I know that was a joke, but
I hope
it's
so.
ridiculous. Yeah.
I'm sure it
But
was.
I'll say. But one thing, what's even more tragic, because like, so before when I was contracting and stuff like that, I was like, oh man, these wrestlers are gone. Oh yeah, we get to see them in other places, right? But I being in the situation where I lost a contract myself, where I was like, I thought I had stability, insurance, and stuff like that. I mean, I don't know if they get insurance. I don't know, but I don't think they do.
Not much.
Yeah, they don't. But I mean, still the stability, knowing, hey, you know what, I'm still gonna have that money. Now, in the past, what, like 6 months, we've seen how many? It's like, fuck that. Let's talk about the last month. Like, it's been a total of what, like 30, 40, 50 wrestlers that no longer have a job now. And now, of course, you have like, we say like, oh, AW is going to sign everyone, all this joke and stuff like
Yeah.
that. The thing is, they don't
can't.
have,
They
they
can't
have
anymore.
they have one pool of wrestlers that they
Yep.
pull from, and indie
Yeah.
wrestlers, obviously, and some other stuff. But that's all. It's just one. So when you see their shows, you see the same wrestlers other than YouTube shows. WWE has 3 separate shows. Would have 3 different pools of
Brands. 3
wrestlers.
separate brands.
Brands. That's what they call it, brands.
Brands.
And I'm not even counting like main event and this other
Exactly.
nonsense.
Superstars.
So they
still do
could,
that shit.
if they weren't a publicly traded company, then maybe like, hey, like we can have all these people, but they just want to keep cutting money and money, and we're gonna get a whole, for WWE fans. I know I can see I see the complaints now. Oh my god, here's another rematch. Here's another rematch. Here's another rematch. Well, guess what? That they did it to themselves. Like, it is, yes, and the main event superstars does still exist. As
But
crazy
that's
as
the
that
thing,
sounds.
is like some of the E fans are so into the product, they don't see that. They're just like, okay, that's cool, it's another rematch, but we're gonna get this next time. And I'm like, but at what point it's like, dude, you're in an abusive relationship. You're
Yes!
never gonna get the match you want. You're never gonna get what you want. They're abusing you, and you're like, yes, feed me more, give it to me more. It's like,
Battered housewife. That's what I always
Yeah.
say. Like, that's why I had to stop. That's why I had to stop watching Raw. I swear, it was. I still remember to
Believe in
this day. It was.
abusive
It was.
relationship.
Yeah, it was no, because it's so okay. And that's the thing. I remember clear was I was a huge Cesaro fan, and that was when I got kind of introduced a little bit to the indies. So I'm like, oh wait, he had like this whole indie run. Like, what is this? And then I looked at him, like, he's awesome. And then they promised us a best out of 7, him versus Sheamus, and we're gonna see who gets a title run. And then when Mick Foley goes on there and says, "Guess what, guys? You guys tied. So guess what? You're gonna be a tag team."
Yeah,
Couldn't
that
do
was
it no more.
yes.
I tapped out.
That was what got you out.
That's what got me out. That's what
I was
started
still watching it.
pulling the Band-Aid, because I'm like, I'm tired of this abuse. I'm like, I just want to enjoy what I watch, and I was hate watching, and I don't like hate watching.
Break the cycle, Angel. You had to break the cycle of abuse.
I had to. And honestly, and this was like, I kind of joke, but like, New Japan like saved my wrestling fandom, because if it wasn't for New Japan, I would stop being a wrestling fan, because I wouldn't look up anything else. Like, I just be like, okay, well, I'm done being, because that's what happened to me back in the early 2010s when I was in Okinawa, Japan, and all we would get in AFN was these WWE shows, and that was they're doing like the celebrity shit, and I was like, this is terrible. I never want to watch wrestling again, and I stopped being a fan, and that's crazy to me, because I'm a huge wrestling fan.
I hear those stories.
Lucha Underground was that way for me. Like Lucha Underground's, like, I was so over WWE. I used to watch with Philip. Philip and I used to watch WWE, and I was like, man, I hate this thing. And Lucha Underground came across one day, and I was like, man, this is awesome. And a lot of those guys were in New Japan. A couple of those guys were in New Japan, so that's how I segued. And that's how I got in the Indies. Lucha Underground.
And that's
Lucha
kind of
was amazing. I loved it so much.
Me
like,
too.
Doubling down on what I said though, and that's kind of what I think's always kept me the same level. Is I've always watched everything.
Yeah, see,
like, I watched New Japan back when it started. Like, I remember when Inoki started that promotion. Like, I remember.
Wait, you're that old? In 72?
Yeah.
No,
when they started showing it here. When they started showing it here, I'm sorry. When they started showing it here.
I'm giving you a hard time.
But I watched Inoki fight. I mean, Inoki came to WWE back in the late 70s, early 80s. Yeah.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
I watched those matches. Yeah. But I'm saying, like, I've always watched everything. Like, when it was E and WCW doing the things, I still watched when Impact was starting, or the TNA, like all those little companies. I was always watching those. So I think that's what's kept me sane through the whole thing. Like, I've never put all my eggs in one basket. So
this actually leads to, like, it's actually pretty crazy now, because it's like, so the way I always hey buddy, stop bugging me. Hey, okay. So the way I always gauge
nice to the
the
other member of the pit.
yeah, right.
Yeah, that's fine.
So the way I gauged how healthy the indie scene was PWG. I think PWG's always has a like the heartbeat, right?
Mhm.
And around like 3 years ago, I when Bola came out, and I noticed it started bringing a lot more foreign wrestlers than what they're used to, and that's when it kind of hit me. I'm like, man, like where are all the indie wrestlers? And that was when we start seeing like this whole like ironic wrestling and comedic wrestling. Like, so I was like, what the indie to me the indie scene was like not dying because obviously me in Texas, come on, we know it's great, right? But a lot of the big indie names, it just wasn't happening. That's what you start. If you watch PWG before, that's what you start seeing a lot of foreign wrestlers. That's what they really tapped to lucha and in the European scene and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So now that we have this just a surplus of these great wrestlers, because that's what they really are. And
Yeah, because now it's fantasy bookmaking time.
now it's funny.
Like, you know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like we're back to that now because
now,
indies
now
need to do
you
that shit.
yes. So now, like I obviously, if you listen, if you watch this, you're obviously also watch indie wrestling and all that. But I think this is a chance to
yeah,
like for
you watch
promoters
us.
to really like. Okay, one, I would say step your game up, and I see I did see something from NAF. Please do a better job with your posters. Like if I want to I want to now. There's a chance for us indie fans to start sharing the wealth. Like, hey, look, this wrestler you used to watch on TV. He's gonna be in your local area. But if you go ahead and you show him like this little like pretty crappy poster, he'll be like, "Oh, this is crap. I'm not
What
gonna
was
like."
that about the poster? Say that again.
No,
I missed it.
no, my bad. No. So Naf brought up a point. One of the guys, Julian from a fantasy football group,
NAF.
and
Oh,
he said
no.
like, yeah.
No.
He said
Got it.
like, nah, my bad. He said like, hey, gay guys, like, please do better on your posters. Like that's what I said. Like I want to start sharing. I want
That's a
to
good
like
point,
this.
but
This is
it's
a
hard.
chance.
It's
I know.
hard.
I know.
It's hard to-
I know it's hard. It's hard. No, at least your
Yeah.
posters look great. I'm not gonna lie. But
I've been
like
through
some of these
3 different people to
posters,
make them though. I've had to go through 3 different designers. It's hard. It's hard to keep
man,
one.
I'm saying because
I will say that
No,
It's hard.
I think
That's
Mitch has
not
gone
what
through
he's
at least.
attacking.
I
He's
think
attacking that
Mitch has
like
gone through
B
4 or 5.
grade, like really bad level.
No,
poster.
I know. I'm not arguing.
yeah.
I'm
I'm
just
saying,
saying it's
but
hard.
like, so, but this
Don't take it.
this is yeah.
It can be done though, but it's hard.
No, it can definitely done. I think there's a chance for like the indie scene because there's a whole bunch of back and forth nonsense. There's a chance to for especially I'm just talking about Texas because I don't know about it, but the Texas indie scene, there's so
That's all
many
you need.
regular wrestlers now. It's
you
gonna
need,
be
Texas.
so many just wrestlers they've seen on TV, and you know, and you have those friends. You have those friends. Hey man, good job, man. It's awesome.
Yeah. He
Hey,
started this
hope to
week.
see you soon. Hope to see you soon in the ring. That's
He
awesome,
started
brother.
this week. He started this week.
Yeah.
He's
So
probably
like this
little
this is a
brother.
great moment to like for our friends
Down
who
like
are
a
part of the
Gumbo's autograph.
cult
I can't
to
wait.
be like, hey, do you want to see a local wrestler? Like it's funny because I have this friend in Florida. He's a hardcore WWE guy, and there's this local wrestling promotion RWR, and they started booking wrestlers from like that were on TV before. And he finally went to one after I couldn't tell him just keep going. And now he loves indie wrestling. Now he's like, dude, where are some of these other indie wrestlings in Florida? What can I go to? Like, what can I watch on TV? Like now he signed on to IWTV. Like this is like a chance to really like, hey, let's build up indie wrestling. Let's start sharing it.
Oh yeah, I mean, anyone that goes to an indie wrestling show, if you have
it's addicting.
any glimmer of love for wrestling, it gets it blows up.
Absolutely.
There's nothing better, and everyone, and I know because I've invited people to like our shows and whatever that have never been to an indie show ever. Like half the crowd at PPW had never been to a wrestling show other than a WWE event in an arena or whatever on a like a live or whatever.
Yeah, I think
now they love it even more.
The one thing I know we're going to start seeing though, going back to the E real quick, is the fact that people are always like, oh, I hope AEW starts picking her up, and I hope AEW starts picking that up, blah 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 blah. And honestly,
come on, Phil,
I honestly don't want AEW to be picking up some of these people.
No, dude,
the indies. Let them work the indies.
Yeah,
if they pick anybody up, I would say Ember Moon would be a solid choice, but let them be on the indies for a little while. There's too many people who have never had a shot at being in a big promotion that deserves a shot.
Yeah. And I have a feeling though, I can almost bet money there's about 4 or 5 on that list that aren't even going to get on the indies. Like they're just going to be out until WWE brings them back again.
Oh, for sure.
Nia Jax.
Yeah.
Dude,
The same people that are going to book Ryback
She's
and
gonna go
Braun
full
Strowman.
Ryback mode in Indies. She's
First of all,
unbookable.
Unbookable is absolutely right. And the people who book Braun Strowman, I've
That's what
got
I'm
some
saying.
like property in San Antonio to sell you with on the beachfront. Nice bridge. Because that is some BS booking right there, Braun Strowman. No.
Especially after
Adam
all
Scherer.
the shit he talked. Like karma's a bitch. Like stop. Like I wouldn't want to. But I mean, again, hey, it's not my money. It's not my money. So hey, whatever, right? But
I can guarantee you one company they're not going to work for.
Hey. But okay, I will say there is one guy I do wish like AEW would sign, just because I think Keith Lee, man.
Man, goddamn right.
No.
There's no way. There's no way Keith Lee doesn't go to AEW. No way.
No way.
Hold on. I mean, can I finish your point? Okay. The only reason why I'm saying this is because if you follow a lot of fans here, right? Especially minority fans. Yes, I agree. Especially minority fans. There's a trend that we're seeing that there's not as many main event minority wrestlers in AEW. Like they go for the belt, right? And the excuse is always that for whatever reason,
there's not enough of them in television wrestling in general.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, their excuse is, there's not enough people out there. There's not enough. Well, Keith Lee is he's been there. He's
day one talent. Day one. He could be a main scene.
He could put you back. So that's the only reason why I say Keith Lee, because there's no excuse now. Now there legit are top minority wrestlers out there. So I just said Keith Lee, because if they're so worried about, oh wait a minute, maybe let's change it up. Keith Lee is that guy. We seen him run with the belt in NXT. We seen him in Ring of Honor. We seen this guy. He put the damn. It irritates me. I fucking hate WWE.
I would rather than pick up somebody from Ring of Honor.
Okay, I have beef with that, and here's why. Okay,
here we go.
Go ahead.
That statement. No, it's a good statement. But you got to think about it from this perspective. Anybody from Ring of Honor can be picked up almost at any time. There are very few select people that are at Ring of Honor that are not well over main event over somewhere else. Like Bandito could go back and be main event, AAA, CMLL, anywhere. Like honestly, AEW can sign anybody, everyone. Angel's right on this one. Like, the Bearcat Keith Lee is an indie scene feel. He's that dude. Like, he's that indie big. Like, when you talk about Brian Cage, whoa, what's to look for, Josh?
Go ahead.
Keith Lee. Hey, man, I can't hate you for it. I won't lie. I can't hate you for it. But
not a fan.
Keith Lee is better than Brian Cage.
Oh, that's fair.
Lee is better. I'm just saying.
No, yeah, okay.
I like Josh's face on that one. I like Josh's face on that one.
I'll say this. I've seen both guys in very different promotions and areas and live on TV. Like Keith Lee has a persona.
Who's better than Brian Cage.
Yeah. He's a persona. Listen, I like Brian Cage, but I've never seen a guy who's that muscled up who I think I can beat up. Like,
there's something about him that just,
I don't know what it is.
Me. And I know part of the fact that bothers me is that Melissa De Los Santos, whatever her name is, that little knock that she made before really bothered the hell out of me, man.
You need to, okay, so I have an opinion about this because this is kind of close to me. So when I was DJing at the bar, people would come up to me all the time and be like, you need to come DJ at my party, and I'll be like, bro, I work here. Like, this is where I work. This is why this works so well. This is my scene. That's not for me out there. So I get that. Like, sometimes people want you to do something that you don't fit. And sometimes it's just like, I want to be here.
That's a good point.
But outside of this, like, this works because of here. This works because my scenario here. But outside of this, it may not fit. And that's a real Brian Cage statement, because Melissa Del Santos and Brian Cage were big in Lucha Underground.
And they were big in Impact.
Yep.
When you look,
they were big in Impact.
You say they were big in Impact, but
Brian Cage was.
Brian Cage was.
Melissa wasn't. Melissa was.
Brian Cage was over though. Like he
he was over.
Put him over. But when people left, nobody.
I see what you're saying.
You know
Yeah.
right? You
No,
know what I'm saying? He was
that's
out
also
there.
like
Well, but he popped up right away at AEW. That's
Bro,
why.
okay,
Yeah.
but look,
And that was when they were together. But anyway,
No, and
I
I'll
get
say
you,
this,
though. I get you, though.
as being
You're
also
right,
this
though.
where
You're right.
this
He
also
wasn't
being a
over.
big TNA and Impact fan, we're
He was over though. He wasn't
like
over.
yeah, we're used to people just leaving. We're used to people just breaking our hearts. So
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah,
expected.
Impact. They just people go through.
Yeah,
He's just not a mainstream.
Ever since
talent.
AJ Styles left, like it's just
dude, that. But yeah, see,
it's
but
been a
yeah.
passing through rest stop for people.
it has,
And it's
unfortunately.
sad because I love. I mean, I love that product.
Dude, I
Anyway,
love
but-
it. But man, it's like
Angel.
it's yes.
But yeah.
Who do you think the first name on this list? Because you mentioned this earlier. You referenced the PWG factor, which I think is slowly I think is slowly becoming the GCW factor.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Who's the first one of these talents to show up on GCW's roster or GCW's radar or roster? Who shows up? Who's
Hold on. Let me go ahead and bring the list up because I have a terrible memory. So let me see.
I have two names. I
Yeah,
think.
go ahead.
Go for it.
I think Karrion Cross might
That's
show
what I was
up.
gonna say. That's what I was gonna say.
I think Karrion Cross will.
That was my vote
It would
right
be
there.
a really good pick for GCW and PWG to pick up.
I mean, he's also my
just ran
favorite person on the
Bloodsport.
whole list.
They
So.
just ran Bloodsport, and they
I
run
know.
Bloodsport 2 to 3 times a month, or 2 to 3 times a year. Sometimes 2, sometimes 3. So they just ran Bloodsport. So about 90 to 120 days, it'll be time for another Bloodsport. Where Karrion Cross.
I think so.
Perfectly. I agree with you. That was the first one that stuck out on mine.
Oh,
As soon as I saw
absolutely.
Karrion Cross, I was like, he's going GCW. And honestly, he kind of
And
fits.
I would-
Like,
I would love
GCW is
it.
a lot of
Yes.
smaller
I would
talent.
love it.
They don't really have a big shit deal like Karrion Cross. Him
There
and
you go.
Scarlett show up.
Yeah,
And
it
I
was.
know we're calling them by their WWE names right now, but
Shit,
Killer
I forgot what was his
Killer-
name in.
Killer
It was like
Cross.
it was Killer
Killer
Cross.
Cross.
Yeah,
Killer
that's
Cross.
such a
Killer
better
Cross.
name.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine.
well, when
You know
they
who
show
you're
up in the Indies, Mel's right. GCW is a great place for. Like, can you imagine Cardona getting the GCW title back and doing his bit?
Oh, yeah.
And then fucking Killer Cross comes out, plants one, done. Like, really and truly, that's a good one. Another name that I thought would immediately show up.
Well, who was your
Great.
second one, Mel? Mel
Oh,
said she
my
had 2.
second one.
She had 2 though. We weren't let her finish.
I honestly think, well, it's kind of a toss-up. What you guys are saying? 1, Keith Lee, or 2, one of the Lucha guys, probably like Grand Metalik.
Probably Grand Metalik, yeah.
I think that's what Dos was about to say.
That's what,
Are we on the same page?
That's
I
actually.
I was like, can you
Let's
see
say- let's say
Ninja
it.
Mac versus Grand Metalik in
That's
90
what I'm
days?
saying.
That Hammer scene. It's too far.
That
It's
would
too
be
close to
amazing.
Hammer scene. None of these
Yeah,
guys
okay,
are
yeah.
gonna make it to Hammer scene. But
No.
right after, I'm talking Ninja Mac versus
2022.
Desperado, Grand Metalik. There's some talent here. There's
Dude.
some real
There's
GCW
such talent.
here.
2022 is about to be wild.
And I think
That's all I gotta
sad.
say.
And I think it's sad for WWE that they picked up these luchadors and had no clue what to do with them. And some of they're all like,
That's
we
it.
know what to do with Rey
Lucha,
Mysterio
lucha,
because he was here before. But what
Yeah.
do you do with these guys in masks? What do these guys in masks
Well,
do?
We'll go ahead
Before
and
Dark
we'll
Side
go
of the Ring,
ahead.
It's got to be
and-
205 Live. Got to be 205. It's
Yeah.
got to be
Well,
in
no.
there.
So I don't know if you guys read the story about what happened with 205 Live, but
Yeah.
like, yeah, that was gonna be Triple H's baby. It was gonna be his. Like, I'm gonna keep him here. And as soon as Vince got a hold of it, supposedly
Sounds like
Triple
what
H was
happened in
like,
NXT.
it's over. It's
Nobody
over.
NXT was-
cared.
NXT was his baby too.
It was the
You know-
4th hour live event. It was always a pre-tape show. It didn't matter. They didn't even have their own dedicated title. It made sense that it didn't matter. And then to
Yeah.
Angel's point, they were just like, "Oh,
Yeah,
let me
it
give
is.
this to Triple H," and he was like, what is this? This is
That
not even
that was gonna be my point. Actually, that was gonna be my point. Go ahead. I was gonna talk about Harry Smith.
I was saying to your point. That's what happened. I'm sorry. I took the words right out of your mouth. Too many.
That's
beers.
what. No. That was what I'm talking about.
You're on a roll.
One that surprised me was Harry Smith. So this is another guy. So guys who don't know, he's the British Bulldog's son. He's been all over the place. Like he was
Yeah.
in New Japan. He was Suzuki Goon.
Pretty solid talent.
Solid
Up-and-coming
talent. Second generation.
Big look. Yeah.
Yeah. When he got signed, I'm like, oh yeah, it's no brainer. Yeah, of course, the British
Yeah.
Bulldog.
That was a
Yeah,
legacy signing. That was a
No,
legacy.
yeah, it's a
But then
legacy signing. Some of these legacy signings have not worked out
But
No,
he
that
didn't
happened,
even get on TV though at all.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but he
no.
didn't get a chance.
I
That's
don't
crazy.
think.
But
I
you gotta
think
keep
he had
him
already
doing
been.
all that Owen Hart shit. I'm sorry, you go.
No. What I was gonna say was that the fact that was he trainable in the WWE way?
See,
Remember, that's why
that's a whole
they've gotten rid, and that's why that whole thing came out. Like, we don't want
It's the
anybody over
second
30.
time
We
through that
don't want blah
system.
blah blah.
dude.
Yeah.
Can I just say?
That's a good point, Mel.
Can I just say for WV fans who are for whatever fucking reason if they are women wrestling fans as well, how upset must you be that or happy that Ava Marie's gone after all of the time and effort they put with her? I can tell you right now, every time a Raw or SmackDown, I forget, I think it was probably Raw. Every time I would talk to my friends who are WWE fans, they would just be ranting about it, like, "Oh, fucking, she's terrible, she's terrible." I'm like, "Why did they sign her?" And then they released her again. It's like, why even sign her in the first place? Why put so much time and effort between someone like that? Oh my god! And yes, he was also with Tyson Kidd as well. Yeah,
I honestly
Harry
think that
Smith.
she was gonna be on a short run anyway. They wanted her for ratings, and they got what they deserved. Hey, look,
With
Eva
Doudrop,
Marie's
yeah.
coming back.
Yeah.
Oh, what? She's coming back. She spiked the ratings. She did what she needed to do for rating sweeps.
Yeah.
And after that, they were
She
like,
did.
"Cool, you're done. Thank you very much for putting Doudrop over."
Yeah, getting all the guys that just want to watch a pretty girl that has no talent, like they used to do.
Matter of
Like,
fact, you know what? I agree with Mel on
that's all
this.
she's good
Actually,
for.
Yes, I agree.
they should go ahead. They should go ahead. Like they should sign almost every woman wrestler on this list, other than Nia Jax. So you have Maya Yim. Come on now, you can't tell me you can't use Maya Jim, Ember Moon, and Frankie Monet. Those are 3 stars right there.
Superstars.
3 that will give you good matches. That will give you great matches. I'll tell you right now, the match I got in AEW, that women's match I got in AEW, what was that? I was not very happy with that.
You really want them to sign Nia Jax because Nia Jax?
No, I didn't say Nia Jax. I said Maya Jim.
He said everybody
they
but
should
her.
sign all the female
Oh
talent.
no!
He said everybody except Nia Jax.
I caveated because right now I'm like doing 3 things at once. I'm trying to stop him from getting in here. No, I officially say again, the 3 I say they should sign right now: Maya Yim, Frankie Monet, Ember Moon.
Yep.
I mean, come on.
I agree with you on 2.
As a Lucha
Ember
fan,
Moon and Mia Yim. Okay. Frankie,
Frankie
Taya.
Taya doesn't need to go to
Thackeray?
AEW. She can go
AEW.
She can go back to Impact.
Yeah.
that's fair. No, I'm just saying because I want to see better women's matches in AEW.
I do.
Eva
I
Marie.
think that Eva Marie.
She's on the list.
Louise.
I caveated and actually looked at the list again.
I would sign
Yeah,
her
said
for
those
dirt,
3.
like a shit low in the dirt contract because people hate her and like why?
She makes
Dude,
so much
dude,
money.
I wouldn't be shocked if she shows up in GCW. I wouldn't be shocked if she shows up in
She's
GCW
not
as a
going
fucking picture off.
anywhere. She's
No,
not.
she's not. She's a model. I know, but I can see someone do something stupid.
She makes so much money outside the wrestling world.
Yeah,
that's the only reason why they brought her back is because they brought more eyes to their product during.
And she'll be back in
her husband.
That was it.
Her husband is like the biggest like #1 Eva Marie fan. Like when they do,
he should be.
He should be. Don't fuck with my meal ticket.
He's a businessman.
Did you really bring the wrong appetizer to my meal ticket because I want to talk to you about this?
Dude.
He's like he's set up, but it makes sense. Like,
but I mean, she'll be back in WWE again. Like, and so will Nia Jax.
You think so?
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
I'm not saying in January. I'm just saying
there's more relatives of the
Nia Jax
of
is
the
the Rock's
Samoan
cousin.
family coming up though that are a lot more talented. So I mean, maybe Nia Jax is, her welcome is she's worn out her welcome because hey, your cousins are coming up and they're a lot more talented.
Yeah, but she'll be back, and so will
your cousins are coming and they're better than you.
Yeah, easy peasy.
That should be her merch.
Can you imagine like having such a large wrestling family that like I don't know what I would do if my brother put me out of a job. If my brother put me out of a job, I'd be mad as fuck at Christmas.
For sure.
That'd be awkward Thanksgivings, right?
Well, let's see if the third Oos brother makes it.
He's already
he showed up.
He already got more TV time than Harry Smith did.
That's true. But he's moldable.
R.I.P.
He's moldable, and that's what the E is looking for. The moldable wrestlers to put in the E style.
You know what?
A lot of that family is very good, though. Like we're talking shit, but a lot of that family.
No, they're good. Like in my opinion,
Jax
Usos.
Not one of them.
Yeah, no, Usos is one of the best tag teams I've seen. Like they're great. So like, there's talent in that family.
But there's also just like the Hearts, like Natalia, they're a company family. They back that company 100%.
Yep.
So how is the
Yeah.
company not going to back them up?
Because they wrecked the older ones so bad they feel guilty. That's why. I mean, that's what it is. It's guilt.
Yeah, I mean,
there's no excuse for cutting talent that was
The way they treated the
on
Wild
TV.
Women. Yeah.
Like Nia Jax has been regular on TV. Like, I mean, I just feel like
Regularly awful.
Where's the line? Like, if you can be on TV on a Tuesday and fired on a Friday, that's a pretty hostile work environment, right? Like, I mean, the wrestling world should come.
I would be nervous as fuck.
With a lack of interest, right?
Yeah, we're fired up about
supposedly,
Ember.
Supposedly these weren't last minute. Some people started getting talking to a week or two ago.
God
like, hey,
damn!
I'm just letting y'all know what's going on. Some of them got there 2 weeks. They just released the names today and made it public.
Yeah, there's even, but the thing is, like, no one's safe in that company. There's this like vice president of creative control or something like that. 25 years, just got released. Just it's like, hey.
I mean, it is the time of the year where we see these releases, but it just seems like this is a big list.
Sucks though, isn't it
every
crazy?
Year,
like
every year in November, we have the same conversation. We can go back to episodes of last November, and we were talking about cuts. So the year before we were talking about cuts.
Hey, no,
one of those years, Eva Marie was one of them, and then she came back, and then she's.
Here's the thing, though.
This is the third conversation we've had this year about this. Like, you're right. Like, there used to be the yearly cut scenario. What do you call it? Black Monday. Black Monday or whatever.
Oh, Black Monday. Yeah, dude. That was when
and now all of a sudden, it's like Black Monday's the first Monday of the month or something.
Yeah.
Like, here's the thing, though, is that, with all these cuts and everything that's going on, it's like, but there's still so many people in the back that are still sitting at catering, not doing anything.
They still have too many people. Like they
still have too many people. That's the problem.
22 people.
And they still have too many
people.
And they still keep picking up people. How
100%
many people
agree. That's hilarious.
How many people are they going to sign now that they've dropped these 18?
And
are they be picking up 10 more in the next month? And you're like, okay, great.
And then the part that pisses me off, or not pisses me off, just sucks about the whole thing is then we talk about the ones we promote on this show, like Chandra Hopkins and all these people. How are they going to go get signed now when now these other people are going to get all those spots? You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
That's what I keep saying. It's like
they're
picking up guys who have already been to the big show, but you're not giving opportunities to people. Yeah, they're recycling the same people over again. I'm sorry. As much as I love the indies as well, I always see the same 3 people on every show across the United States, and I'm like, man, but there's these other guys who are just as talented, and hey, their rate isn't as high. They're willing to travel. They give them a break. Cut them some slack. And now, AEW is picking up all these WWE, let goes, which is fine. But at the same time, like, what about the guys who never got a shot at the big time? Give them a shot. They're out there busting their butts on the indies.
I'm saying too, like the ones that kept Dark alive during COVID. Like all these people that were showing up and going to live in Florida for weeks at a time.
But
and now we're touring again, so they're not. None of them are getting signed anywhere now. And
I mean, in all fairness, they have signed some of them. In all fairness, I mean, obviously not as many. I mean, but the way AEW Dark works, it's like if
none of our
there's like what it must have been like 200, 300, 400 wrestlers just gone through just because So it's
AEW Dark is not heat though.
It's not. No, I mean, don't get me wrong. Hey, I'm not.
Like, that's to your point. Like Angel said that to me one day, like not verbatim, but we were in a chat, and he was like, "It's not the same thing. People watch Dark," and I'm like, "That's true." When you look up YouTube hits, like enough people watch it to justify maybe not a 5-year contract for a talent, but you could justify a 1-year talent, like a guy like Fuego del Sol.
Yeah.
My bad.
And look how much it took for him to get signed.
So I'm did
it though?
Yeah, it did.
Maybe Tony Khan had that contract. You know what I mean? Like
he didn't though. He did though.
No, the way Fuego said it was that he'd already been told no.
Yeah.
Wow.
He'd already been told no. That thank you, but no.
Sammy even said that day was the day he found out. Like he that was really a genuine moment. It's the story.
That's awesome. That
I've heard that wasn't on any talk shows. I've heard from texts from people.
Yeah.
Like, I talked to these guys and that's what they told me. So, I mean, they could be blowing smoke up my ass too, but.
So since y'all know,
anyway,
so now I'm curious.
That's just
yeah. So I'm curious about something. So now that there's this this mass amount of now indie wrestlers that are available now. Like, so does that bring the price up or down for how much they they request? Like now, do they? And does that mean that we're gonna start seeing prices going up in indie shows?
The thing is, it's gonna make the talent we have now have to charge less.
Ah, man,
which sucks.
Yeah, because I mean, Chelsea Green didn't come back to an indie rate. She's not like she didn't come back to be like, oh, I'm gonna charge the same as indie wrestler number 5 over here. No, she goes, I've been on Impact. I've been on WWE now.
There's commas involved in her rate now. Yeah,
I mean, look at Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman had done Jack.
I hate Chelsea Green.
Fucking bullshit chat. Yeah, you can say it.
I like Chelsea Green.
I'll cuss it for you.
Chelsea Green is overhyped. Like Chelsea Green to me
exactly. And she's expensive as fuck.
Basic fucking talent. Like honestly, when she was cut from WWE, I felt almost no sympathy. Like don't get me wrong, your talent can carry you so far, but WWE was never going to use the gimmick that got her over. And sure,
her gimmick and Impact was amazing.
Correct. Outside of that crazy two-face gimmick that she plays, it's not great. Like she's somebody that has to be paired with a great gimmick. I don't care about Chelsea Green, and I'll tell you that, Shane. If you're watching,
that's a perfect example
about Chelsea Green, you motherfucker.
And that's a perfect answer to Angel's question, because then you try to book Chelsea Green. Guess what you got to fucking do?
You got to book Cardona for sure.
No, you got to put zeros and fucking commas on a check.
Oh my god!
But
that's what I'm saying. Like to get her, I don't know how many zeros, but
is there a couple price? I mean, Brett doesn't have that many zeros for an appearance. Chelsea Green showed up at GCW, and all she did was nutshot Moxley or who the fuck ever.
Well, that's an
appearance. That's
for Brett.
That's an appearance. You know what I mean? Like that's
But they also have, here's the thing though. There's also with anybody whose contract, you set your own price. Yeah. And you're on a sliding scale. You're on a friends and family. You're on a, hey, they'll get me over more. So you can slide that scale to adjust it to your.
Yeah, I know. There's people that I can book
promotion
that I know they charge more at other places. Like I know that for a fact. So I mean that has to be the same where there. You know what I'm saying?
And then for women wrestlers,
Chelsea Green is cheap. Like honestly, like who
for GCW she might be, but she's not cheap for down here.
Who? Okay, sure. That's true.
Wait, why do we keep talking about Chelsea Green?
Well, no, it's just another one that pops up.
No.
But it's a thing. It's a thing. Like Chelsea Green.
Well, it's your point. Yeah, these names that are out now are going to.
Chelsea Green is a straight to DVD Britt Baker. Always has been. She's always will be.
But then you book someone like that on an indie show, then there goes your budget for the fucking indie show.
But it's not in the situation. Oh, yeah. If you're booking just Chelsea Green, yeah, you lose your ass.
It's tougher.
GCW is getting the combo deal. Matt Cardona is the burger and fries, and Chelsea is just the fucking the grape Sprite on the side.
The grape Sprite. Nobody wants that shit.
Yeah. Oh wait, grape Sprite. Hold on a second. I like grape Sprite.
All right, calm down, Angel.
Hey, you like grape Sprite? Try it.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Grape what?
Hey, grape Sprite. So actually, there's back in the day, there's this thing called like Sprite Twist or whatever, and it was like a grape type of crazy fucking soda.
Oh, I heard of it. Yeah.
Fucking great. Yeah, I mean, I don't drink soda anymore either, but that was in my very skinny days. But yeah, man. Hopefully, I mean, I guess. So they probably what 60-day no compete con.
30 for some of them.
30.
Like Scarlett flat out put it today. 30 days starts today.
Hey, well,
that's what we're seeing too. We are seeing those like contract clauses that are very different for WWE. We're starting to get some exposure for who was smart enough to come in and be like, nah, if you want me, it's this.
Yeah. Or like Kyle O'Reilly. Like he's about to let his contract go, and he's going to be available the next day.
That's the other thing.
He's not being released.
How do you have on the one hand like your fucking never-ending list of releases, and then over here you have several names got away? Like what the fuck?
They're still like, hey, remember that guy, Adam Cole, baby?
You remember that group of guys that like owned our fucking brand and had all the belts and made it worth watching for a fucking year?
I know. They're almost all gone.
They're going to be gone.
Yeah. They're like, hey,
at the end of the month, they're all gone.
Because
O'Reilly's not signing back.
Yeah.
O'Reilly's not signing back. He's the last one.
No, because it's like, hey guys, remember
Roddy's already gone, right?
Yeah, remember how we had that super group Undisputed Era that was like dominant NXT, but like we could never move up to the main roster because we would ruin them.
They had they made NXT the brand for WWE.
They helped make NXT the brand right there next to Johnny Wrestling and of course
Tommaso Ciampa.
They were NXT. Welcome to the They were NXT's NWO.
Yeah.
They showed up there. They were
But
all
they're like, welcome to the main
quick,
roster because we're the main roster.
But you know, but
And then they
Gone.
broke them up. Like
They're
everything
gone.
else, they break them up. They're like, hey, let's take one of the best tag teams we've had.
Okay.
We had this brilliant,
Diamond
tag team. But you know what?
Diamond Mine.
I've got an even bigger idea. Let's break them up and just screw ourselves like every other.
Like, that's
thing
why
we do.
it's amazing to me that the New Day is still the New Day,
Yeah.
even though they're technically broke up because they
Break
separated
it.
them. Yeah.
But
New
the
Day's
one tag team.
New Day is
But
the
one tag team,
longest.
Sorry.
faction.
Go ahead.
There's never been a faction that stayed together longer than New Day in the history of WWE.
Correct.
Ever.
Correct.
that's a
Ever.
testament to
Pro
them.
wrestling in general, people forget.
Ever.
Everybody has this like nostalgic memory of like DX and NWO. Like NWO,
No, they
even
were broken.
was like 5 versions
Yeah.
in 4
Yeah.
years. DX was a year and a half before. It was not even a year and a half before Shawn left, and then the further was even less. Not even a year before that.
Yeah.
Like factions in WWE, they have a shelf life like fucking tomatoes. It's very short. It's not long.
No, and I think the only reason why New Day is New Day is because of Woods, because of the fact that he got up, down, down, over. He does so much with up, down, down that the E had brought it into their bubble. And
I don't know if anyone's ever got away with more than him. Just for the record.
Uso, Jimmy Uso. Wait, which one?
Well,
Jimmy or Jay? I'm sorry, I don't
Jay.
know which one.
I don't know. One of
apologize.
the
I don't know which one it
Usos,
is.
yeah.
One Usos,
Jay.
yeah, the one that keeps
not
getting in trouble,
Josh.
yeah.
It's not Josh.
Yeah.
It's Jay.
Yeah, why do the Usos not have like a personal driver at this point? Like
That's what I'm saying, dude. I was gonna say
Anyway,
something.
that's a whole other conversation.
But yeah, that's the only thing is that they have these tag teams. Let's talk. I mean, then of course they have Lucha House Party, the one tag team they should break up, and they keep them together to like the bitter end. And they gave them those ridiculous names, like, "Hey, look, we got some more minorities
coming out with piñatas and like, oh my
we got
god,
some more
fucking hate that
Latino
so much.
minorities. What? How can we take them to the next level of Latino humiliation to really put it in that we really don't know what to do with them? Piñatas. I don't know.
So I'm glad they're free.
Yeah.
Those are the two I'm looking forward to see them.
Shout out to Kalisto for he just had a title
Yes,
shot
Samurai de Sol.
yesterday. I watched it.
Yeah, Samurai de Sol. Oh yeah, you did watch it, right? You did watch it.
I watched the whole AEW live. It was the only.
I am proud of you. Yeah.
No.
I would say, oh, dude, don't give me starting on fucking Mexicools. I mean, okay. Anyways, but I'll say
I gotta
this.
say I'm happy for Philip to be in the chat right now.
We got to meet super crazy recently. That was crazy.
I'm just saying I'm happy Philip's in the chat. That's making
Me
me happy.
too.
I'm loving it.
I miss Philip at wrestling. Philip is
Total sidebar right there. Sorry, we can carry on now. I just wanted to say that. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was say,
back to wrestling talk.
Yeah. I'll say that I know in a lot of people give CM Punk a whole lot of shit for whatever just because it's CM Punk, but I'd say his promo was no lie one of the best promos I've seen in a while. I absolutely loved it, and this is I think is a testament to why AEW is AEW and why the fans are so invested in AEW is because they don't insult your intelligence. They don't. If this is WWE, they'll do some stupid, oh, he blew up, or hey, they do some other fucking nonsense, right? Do some crap like that, right? But they were like, we know he wanted to publicly come out. We're gonna tell you up front. This is what happened. This is Moxley was a very courageous guy to absolutely do this because we know wrestling has a ridiculous history of just abuse and shit like that. So I freaking appreciated that. That made me, I'm not gonna lie, that made me love AEW even more because it was like, and even so afterwards, like when the show ended, Tony Khan actually came out and he said this was the second hardest show he's ever had to do because there were so many moving parts, but he loved what Mox did. He he's like, he respects him for what he did.
The way he announced it though is the best perfect way he could have done it too. It's like Mox told me to tell you this out.
Yes.
So because you know what would have happened if he
How
did not
dare
said that part.
Yeah.
Why are you putting this business out on the street? And how dare you? Blah blah. Like he's getting it.
This is off track real quick, but it's what you were just saying about how people jump on you is the fact that Samurai del Sol misspelled Brody Lee's name, John Huber. He spelled it with an H, and Amanda Huber jumped on him, and then Jericho jumped on him, and he was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, man. I was emotional, and it get the best of me. But the fact that Amanda Huber also jumped on him and said like he was clout chasing, I was like, wow. But Jericho didn't have to say anything. He could. Why does Jericho always feel he has to insert himself in everything, dude? Like, no one wants your opinion on every little effing thing that goes on.
Jericho has made me dislike him because of social media.
Yes.
And I'm not gonna lie. And then like with Brody Lee's widow, I get it. I thought I get it. A simple DM would have worked out.
Yes,
a simple
I agree.
DM would have worked out.
No,
she not reached out.
No. It's just a name. Like it's
yes, no. I agree. It's the stupidest fucking thing. It's a fucking John to a John. You ever seen got it? You pussy added the fucking H. Who gives a crap?
A year later, and people still talking about your husband. You want to correct the spelling? Fuck you. And that is why that's not the Brody that my dog is named after. I'm just saying, like that's some shitty shit. Like. Fuck you. If my wife died tomorrow and 6 months from now, someone came out and was like, I miss you, Asher Fuck it, you know what?
But do you know who they're talking about?
I love her too. Like, we miss
you knew who they were talking about.
I'm not going to be like, oh, actually.
That was my thing.
Yeah.
Like, everybody knew who he was talking about.
We knew it was John
Huber. We knew it was John Huber.
But Amanda had to double down and be like, why are y'all bullying me? I'm right. Like, he could have
doubling down.
Actually, she tripled down and said that, if you're gonna clout chase, at least spell your name right. And I was like, damn, you triple down.
Dude, it's the person that never tweets ever until now is talking about somebody clout chasing.
But at the same time,
because your husband happened to be a badass wrestler,
and a lot of AEW fans
were like, now you're all of a sudden a fucking social media.
Who Callisto worked with for years. Callisto worked with him for years.
But I also and I also am like, and I love the AEW fans pointing this out. Was like,
I've been there. I know Miro went and misspelled his name. But what was the justification? He called, he talked to him. Okay, what the fuck does that have to do with him being closer to what? No, hey, there's people who I'm legit close to that their spouse will never fucking know because I have no reason to ever talk to the fucking spouse. Okay. So that whole shit fucking pissed me the fuck off. I was like, seriously, we know it's second language. We know English is fucking second language, and it was also a fucking auto text. Who cares? Who the fuck fucking cares? Motherfucker.
That's what upset me. And what I was saying was that the AEW fans pointed out that she's in charge of community relations, and she's doing that on social media.
Remove her.
You're in charge of AEW community relations. You're supposed to be anti-bullying, and you just had everybody gang up on him on a name.
Right. On a letter.
That left a sour taste in my mouth.
One letter.
Damn.
One letter too many.
It's asshole.
One letter.
And I was going to say it's like because it's like a John to a John, and John's a very common so it just happened to be Jon. You know, it's like if I got upset at someone. If I got upset at someone, you call my ex-wife.
The majority of people named John spell their name with an H.
How many people does she see online misspell it? How many times do you see that name misspelled? All the time.
No, spelled the normal way, because with an H is the normal way. Biblically speaking.
And it's funny because
it's in the fucking Bible.
I think
Jon.
I think it's always specific to you if it matters. Because, for example, my dog's name is Brody.
Bible. That's kind of
Brody is not named after Brody Lee. People, and like when I tell wrestling fans Brody's name, they're like, "Oh, he's named after Brody Lee." And I'm like, "Well, no, I was actually a Brody King, Bruiser Brody fan." So Brody's name is Brody, and
I guessed it right, by the way.
To me, it's so. If someone,
I was wrong. I was one of the ones wrong.
If someone showed up, if Brody got hit by a truck and exploded and all over my face, and I had to peel him off. If someone showed up and was like, "I'm so sorry, R.I.P. Brody with an I," I wouldn't care. I would be like, "Thank you. I'm glad you knew."
Because you knew who they're talking about,
right? Like, fuck it. That's all that matters. Who gives a shit? This is. And for her to be like, it's clout chasing. No, you're clout chasing.
You're clout chasing. Exactly.
Constantly.
Nobody knew your name until your husband died.
And they didn't work under that name. He was Luke Harper to Callisto.
Exactly.
He was Luke Harper.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's stupid.
So he never saw it printed. They called him John probably.
And I refuse
I
refuse to believe that Brody Lee would have wanted that.
He wouldn't have given two.
No, not at all.
It's a shitty thing. Like, it's wrestling. And when you're a wrestler, sometimes people walk up to your table and be like, "My favorite match was you versus this," and you have to go, "I wasn't in that match." Like that's just fans. Like you don't have to be disrespectful. And she shit on that guy for something stupid. It was stupid. It was stupid.
Yes. I agree. I thought it was silly. It was like
I felt like I got to yell about it.
We all
I'm glad
we all
I was like,
agree too. That's crazy.
That was such a
we all
firestorm for no reason.
Yelled.
And there was no reason for Chris Jericho to even interject himself.
Fuck
But
Jericho.
dude just wants to be on every episode of Dark Side of the Ring. You know, he's like, I knew him. I was there. Yeah, but now I'm starting to wonder if anybody even asked you to be there, dude. Like you just inserted yourself in everybody's life.
Yeah.
It's a real good example.
He pays money for that show to happen.
It's not AEW ego.
He's going to be on every episode.
AEW has it, but it really is like, damn, like check your shit, bro. Like who the fuck are? And that's so uncharacteristic of Jericho. Like I mean, is it? That's a good point. Is it though? Like maybe.
No, trust me.
Recently, it's not. His
recently.
it is.
Yeah. If it's
a
career
year ago, it is.
Yeah. It's a classic case of like you don't want to meet.
I think he's starting to see his star like the shade come off, or it's getting a little shadier. So he's trying to get it back out there. You know what I mean?
You mean?
I agree.
You mean him doing all that, the hair tricks, all those hair plugs he's got, the whole don't grab me by the hair, grab me by the shirt, grab me by the arms, all that bullshit.
Yeah.
The whole ass wig just come right the fuck off. I just
feel
feel like.
Yeah, can I just say, like, I am so over. Like, again, I'm gonna reiterate again. I'm a massive MMA fan. I am super excited for this fucking weekend. I am pumped up. Fuck yeah. Bye, Melanie. I'm so fucking pumped up. I could give two flying fucks about this ATT versus that segment was so damn bad. It was. I was like only one person got it. One person got it, and that's the female. That's PVZ. That's Paige. Like she's the one that gets what to do, what she's there. No one else gets it. No other. So why?
She's doing a good job. She's the only one doing a good job.
Who are they gonna match up against?
Nobody.
Inner Circle doesn't have. Exactly, Jericho. Yeah, it's like it's gonna be a nut shot. Like, come on. It's just yes. Hey, since they're not here, we can actually talk about UFC if you want. But hey, no, but I'm saying, but what my point is, it's like that whole segment is just I've been done for Jericho for a while. Segments like that. Yeah, like I'm
you know the part that made me a little bit happy though was like, well, at least now Scorpio and Paige can go against Santana and Ortiz or something. You know what I mean? Like I want to see that.
That's what I mean. They can talk, and the thing is, it looks so weird when you see the what are they called? Like the Man of Today or whatever, or like the Man of
Man of the Year.
Man of the Year. Sorry, Man of the Year. Sorry, that's very generic. Man of the Year. Like they're all like, over like acting like wrestlers, and all the other MMA guys are like. Or just like this, like they throw Arlovsky. Arlovsky's like, oh yeah, hey, yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, he's like not even American. Like
it's like come on.
He's like, I don't get this.
Do you think that he's mad being in that program? Legitimately,
Arlovsky? No, he's not. No, he was. So
no, Arlovsky's definitely happy being around. I was talking about Scorpio Sky. My bad.
Yes,
Scorpio Sky.
Yes.
I mean, he re-signed, man. He's on TV.
He re-signed before that. They were
re-signed before that.
Was it before that?
It was way before the MMA gimmick. This is my thing. I watched that last night, and my whole thing.
He's not mad being with Paige.
He's not mad being not at all. But Dan Lambert, there were several. Let me just show you what Dan Lambert did multiple times, and then we've got a Angel over here, and then I've got Josh over here, and he's bad, and then.
Dude. And
I was like, damn, like, because that's one thing. Like, I was the first show I've watched in 2 years, so I get to be a full blown critic. I'm like, all right, everything's new to me, everything, and I know that storyline. I've seen it because we saw it together at the All Out or the Buy-In or whatever, and it just didn't get any better. Like Scorpio Sky is dead in that program. Ethan Page or Ethan's dead in that. You know what I mean? Like they're all dead in that program. Andre Arlovsky.
Junior Dos Santos.
And honestly, and the worst thing is, this is a lot of the MMA media are actual wrestling fans. Like if you hear them, because I hear a lot of podcasts, a lot of them are like the media people are wrestling fans.
We covered that in the beginning.
No one's talking about it.
I've said it in the beginning of this whole thing. Lambert is the biggest fucking wrestling mark, as big as any
Yes.
fucking wrestler mark could be. I get it. And I love it. I appreciate it.
But
You don't need to be on my TV show every week.
yeah, no, like the actual guys who write articles, who interview, and all that aren't even talking about this. So why are we doing this?
Like
You're
I said,
not getting extra eyes.
If I get Sky and Page versus Santana and Ortiz,
that's all I want. That's all I want.
And it's almost it's there. It's there for the taking now. Finally,
what was the better thing? Ethan Page versus dude with the half face. Fuck, what's his name?
Darby Allin.
Darby Allin. Those promos with him going after Darby Allin are significantly better than what he's doing right now.
Oh yeah.
All he's doing is just
let Dan Lambert do all the talking, and Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky don't need a mouthpiece. It's kind of dumb. Like Dan Lambert might be able to get the MMA guys over, and honestly, I don't think he can. Like Andre Arlovski look as out of place as he's ever looked.
He does.
Junior.
Well, they pointed at him, like, and then we've got Andre Arlovski, and he was like, "Yeah."
Yeah. And then they go to the other two guys who are like Bellator guys, and they're like, "Yeah, right." Not like
nobody even knows who they are.
No, and to answer Joseph, we don't need to see King Mo anywhere. No, King Mo, we're good. We're good.
I'm good. We don't need King Mo.
No, with that. And so
I mean, King Mo's the closest one they've had to actually be a wrestler, and he was god awful in Impact. But I guess he's put in the more of the work for the.
Yeah. I wouldn't say he's not exactly
more than Arlovski, more than Dos Santos, more than Masvidal, all of those guys. But still, I don't want him. No, I don't want him.
Yeah, but
I don't want Lambert anymore neither. I want him to stay a fan. Keep making that fucking awesome belt collection that you have, so one day you can put it somewhere for somebody to go see. Because I really want to see the rest of his shit because he has a fucking awesome collection.
Yeah, it's wonderful. And the crazy thing is, it's like we complain that the AEW has too many people right now. They have too many people, and we're wasting quality. That was like, what, 10-man segment on no. If we combined all together, there must have been fucking like 2 hours of combined time just with these guys. Like, it should have been like a one time. Hey, Jorge Masvidal, come in, do your thing, boom. That's it.
Jericho with the knee. Like the Askren knee. That's what I'm calling it now.
yes.
But like, that's it though, and you're done. Like, that's cool. And then Sky and Page can handle themselves.
Yep. Bring up two piece in a biscuit. Just like bring up that up in a promo. Cool. Say it's super relevant. Like shit like that. Biscuit.
That's what Masvidal thing. Yeah, he said.
I'll tell you offline about it. It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, it's awesome.
That's
stupid. Leon Edwards. Ask him about it.
Yeah, fuck that. Poor Leon, man. This most disrespected man in MMA. But
fuck that. Oh, we can't. I'll still go out, but fuck that. We'll talk about wrestling though. This is a wrestling show.
Yeah. We'll talk offline.
That guy's the biggest fucking two-faced piece of shit ever. Go ahead.
Leon. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, Brad has no idea what you're talking about. Hey, actually, before we go, I gotta get off soon. Can we talk about Matt Tremont? Like, how's he doing? Is he like
burned the fuck up?
Is he still burnt? Man.
All right. Here's the thing you gotta understand. Like, so FMW coming over here, and I'm gonna peel the curtain back a little bit. No, I won't, because I know I don't have permission from my sources to do that. One thing I will say is, the construction of the explosion and the construction of the events had to change at the last second, and they were not in favor of Tremont and H2O, so they had to make some on-the-fly adjustments. It was a great match. One thing I said in the chat is, I feel like
let everybody know what you're talking about first. Like, rewind a little bit. Let everybody know what it is.
What?
I know. JoJo's watched it, but
I'll
just jump to the end of a story.
Onita is old school FMW guy, way back in late '90s, early 2000s, deathmatch guy, real
Dark
big,
Side of the Ring.
The king of like exploding death matches and all that good shit. Mm-hmm. He brought back FMW here about 12, 13, 14 years later, whatever, however much it's been. And but he's bringing back the old school style of the more fire, like the exploding ring, fire, ring of fire, all that type of shit. Matt Tremont and Onita back in the day, even though Onita was retired, Matt Tremont called him out and was like, "Hey, I still want to fight you." So CZW called Onita over, brought them over, and the big botch was halfway through the match. CZW decided that I want it to be about me, and I'm going to interject a few people that don't matter. So this once-in-a-lifetime King of American Death Match versus King of Japanese Death Match became a six-way. So this was Matt Tremont's. Thank you, Jeff. Onita is God. I believe that in the deathmatch world, 100%.
I'm sure. Yeah.
This was their attempt to correct that wrong in CZW, and Onita was coming to H2O, which is Matt Tremont's wrestling organization, and they were going to have an exploding ring death match. So it was a great match. Honestly, I want to just say one thing before I really break this down. If you take all the fire out of this match, it's still a hell of a fucking match. If you take anything that was fire, combustibles, fireworks, anything, all that out, it was a great match. Great death match, truly. So then when you add in the fire, there was some good shit and there was some bad shit. So let me do like one of my favorite YouTube channels does ups and downs. So here's my ups and downs. Ups. There was an exploding light tube bundle. That blew my mind. Like the fact that we had 4 tubes, hit Onita or hit Tremont, and not only did they explode, but then fire came out of them. That was crazy. Here's the down. So there was the outside exploding ring death match. Apparently there was some construction issues and they had to make some last call audibles and they had to use actual fireworks. The fireworks were not supposed to go off to the end of the show. What was supposed to happen was outside was supposed to explode, be fire, bang, bang, bang. Ooh, wow, crazy. And then the end of the match, fireworks going to go off. But in typical deathmatch fashion, when we do fire outside, like I always say, it doesn't work. The fireworks went off. So Tremont fell into the exploding ring. The fireball went off. And then we got to watch about a minute and a half of fireworks that we weren't supposed to see. So it was really kind of awkward and strange. Like this guy was supposed to be dying and burned up, but it was all like,
yeah, no, it was cool. I felt like it was at Six Flags. I felt like the
fireworks show. It was like pew 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 pew. They had like the big square boxes that were like
the Saturn missiles.
It was crazy. It was insane.
It's great.
But honestly, all in all, like that's my one big complaint about that match was like. The fireworks going off really took away from it. It really did make it feel AEW. And I don't think I think that's just circumstantial. I think if that happens on any other soil other than American soil, no one makes that comparison. It's just another match. Because for those of us that are old school death match, true blue old school fans, every once in a while the exploding ring does not go the way it's supposed to. That is just as common as when it goes the way it's supposed to.
Yeah.
All in all, it was a great match. For it to be
which almost makes it more of a reason to watch, right?
Oh, you never fucking know. I feel like
you
if
don't
you
know.
watched enough of these, you really every time it's supposed to go off, you really don't know if it is. And some of our favorite matches, like I'll be true to y'all, my birth of deathmatch wrestling, like I was exposed to deathmatch wrestling, but the match that made me fall in love with it is the stupidest match ever. It was the exploding ring, a floating pool death match. Like I've got a picture of it on the wall. Yeah, it's the stupidest match.
Yes, I love
They
it.
took like a boat to the ring, right?
I was like, I'm in. Mike Awesome, fucking Mr. Pogo, fucking
Mr.
Onita.
Pogo.
It's stupid.
Yeah.
Like they would knock him out of the ring and they'll fall in the water and they will go on the other side. There would be an explosion just because of
random. Yeah.
Fuck it. But you know what? Like honestly,
distract from the guy drowning in the water.
Like shout out to Jeff. Those of y'all that watch JoJo. For those of y'all that are watching that and feeling that really does speak volumes because we had the XPW Dark Side of the Ring, we had the FMW Dark Side of the Ring this year. Both of them hit this year. And so for deathmatch wrestling to be as big as it is, it's never been in the scene like it is right now. And people are paying respect. And that's true. Jeff's comment is true. Onita is God. Like Onita really did elevate things. There's a lot of shit that
when you got Terry Funk like saying shit about him, like
right. and we got Onita version FMW. We didn't get Hayabusa version FMW. We didn't get the after years that was a lot more like even crazier, weirder shit, or even less deathmatch. So it's really good shit. But honestly, it was a crazy setup. I think it could have been done better, but I also think they did the best with what they could have had. Post-COVID, post-pandemic, I think this is a fabulous situation. But with Onita slowly aged, like that dude's like 60. He's already old as fuck. Like you can't wait 5 more years. That's my take.
Exactly.
I'm gonna take. I'm so happy somebody asked about that. Whew.
Yeah. I was saying we were gonna probably talk a lot more about that until what happened today.
Man.
Today was crazy. Yeah.
And
I woke up this morning like, what are we gonna talk about tonight? I was like, oh, we got the Onita match. I was like, we'll get a lot of the coverage on that, and we'll talk about AEW, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot to talk about AEW.
That we talked about.
Yeah, I mean, Yeah, no, it was just curious, you know. I felt like I heard Matt Tremont was like injured for a week in the hospital. I was like, damn.
Yeah, so that's another thing too. So there's multiple types of ways you can set up combustibles in a death match, and there's different types of lighter fluids or fuels that people want to use. It was fired. That's the fucking.
It's over. The show's over. Shut it down. Shut it down.
Boom.
Hey man, that's fucking. It was fire, Daddy. Fucking shit.
Oh my God, we're leaving it right there.
Fucking
That's
hell.
it. See ya.
See ya. Bye.